All right, I'm gonna take over. I'm taking over. All right. So how is this one? Does this one make sense? Questions on it? Yes.
That left line shouldn't be perpendicular to the two horizontal lines.
It could be, or it's vertical. Vertical is perpendicular to horizontal, right?
Oh, that's what. Okay,
So vertical, horizontal,
I
horizontal.
was reading that as parallel.
No, parallel would be two lines. These two are parallel to each other.
Okay.
Perpendicular.
You got parallel, perpendicular.
So, yeah. So vertical, horizontal, horizontal, parallel, parallel, and then those two perpendicular.
Okay.
And then dimension it. Actually, and this probably isn't how I would dimension it. I wouldn't have used ordinate on this part, but this is what we were given. We might redraw this one again in AutoCAD, so that way you can see how having it ordinate does help with some things. And like for guys in the shop, they like this because they know, okay, come from here, come over, come up. That's where that center is. They don't have to measure in from the side or anything. If it's on a manual, if it's on CNC, then it doesn't matter. You draw it. You can draw it either way. Does it make sense? Just from this morning, just draw one point there, dimension it, put the hole in, then just draw this line. The angle of the line doesn't matter, just the dimensions to the endpoints, and then do those holes, and then add that fillet at the end.
That's for the hole.
Because if you can draw it with a square corner, draw it with a square corner, add a fillet later. Adding the fillet on the sketch just means, like, what if you decide, oh no, I don't want to do a fillet, or I want to change that to a chamfer. Now I have to go back and edit the sketch. If you do it as a feature, then you don't have to worry about it. So, any questions on that one? Yeah.
Is there a reason you did a line instead of
2 points? Because a line, I can just hit L to start a line and click, click. Points, I'd have to go through the menu, draw, points, and then click, click, and then escape to get out of the... I'd have to get escaped out of the line anyway, but it's an extra couple clicks instead of a shortcut. So that's the only reason. But it could be 2 points. That's fine too. Any other questions? The only thing I wouldn't do 2 circles because I have to do a circle there. Now I have to dimension where the point is, and I have to dimension the diameter of the circle. But the hole command is going to take care of the diameter of the circle of the hole. So drawing a circle is just a waste.
So that middle one, that's the counter?
For the counter bore, I would just do a single point.
Oh, okay.
But for these other 2 holes, just a line so I can have a center point here and a center point there.
But
okay.
since they're not, at least I don't think they're dimensioned from each other.
No, but I can still dimension.
But you can still
I can dimension horizontal and vertical from here, from this endpoint, and I can dimension this endpoint horizontal and vertical also, from the baselines.
Okay.
And so that would just, it makes it an easy way to do it.
And since they're the same kind of hole, you can
Yep.
do it on
So,
the grid.
and it's telling me there's 2 of them, the same, so I can just do it in the same hole command. Okay, does that make sense? What about this one? So first of all, on this one, we don't have a pictorial view. So first problem is trying to figure out what this thing is, right?
Yeah.
And so, remember that's why we have our views lined up. So if we kind of go side to side, we can see what things are. So if I kind of see this, so kind of if I'm looking at what's coming out towards me, like this thing right here is this thing right here, right? So this line is that line, that hole, are those hidden lines there? So this thing right here is only on this side. This thing right here that that's the wider, that's the 1.5 wide, is this piece back here. Because you can see this line goes to there. These hidden lines are these holes. So this back piece is the full width. This piece right here is only 1/2 inch wide and 7/8 tall. So it's just off on one side of it. So if I was going to sketch this, maybe I want to draw the thing that's going to come out first. So. And then. Like that.
Oh, I totally messed it up.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I get what
they're
you're
not really
working
good
on.
at reading prints.
And so this is that more practice. And we've only been doing this a few weeks, right? And we haven't done too much going from the 3. But that's why I put this one in, and so that to see if you were able to try and figure it out. But this is about what it should look like, right? And that's, remember, when it comes to sketching, it doesn't have to be perfect, it has to be close enough. Just to kind of, okay, what is it? So when you see these in the future, try and figure out the isometric of it. Even if the angles aren't perfect, or like try and see if you can turn that 2D drawing into a pictorial.
Are you going to be going through reading prints and stuff like that to show them how to do it, to show us?
Didn't we do that like 2 weeks ago?
Well, I don't know.
If we spent a couple days on it. We're gonna do. We'll talk about more like in examples like this. So now you can kind of see where I was going. So create a sketch on the front plane, and then I'm going to draw this back rectangle right here, and extrude it out my 1/2 inch, and then sketch on the back side. So this side of it. So sketch on this side, I could do that, but it doesn't start there. So I'm going to just sketch on this side of it, draw this, because I need to be able to dimension from the very back of the part. And I like to draw things where I can see more of the shape. Yeah, I could just sketch on the front face and drawn this, and then extruded and had to do math. Or I could have drawn on the back face here and done that also and just extruded that far. Lots of different ways to get to the same thing. Oh man, this thing is, the mouse is messing up your guys' screens. Either way works. I just prefer to draw the bigger view. I like to draw the big thing and extrude the small distance. Because in most things, that's what that thing that works the best. And you'll see that once we get to 22 and just start getting sheet metal, we'll do the same thing. So that's just my personal process, and that I find works best for me. If you want to do a sketch on the back, just the 1/2 by 7/8 and extrude out the 2.2 9/16, that's fine too. It still comes out with the same thing. You still are using the same dimensions. You're not doing math. That's good. Yeah, I don't want you to. I don't want you to just do 2 9/16, like sketch on this face, and do that minus that.
It's more work.
Yeah, it's a little bit more work. But if you just type in the numbers and I decide I want to change this thickness, but keep that overall the same, now you have to go back and edit your math. Or you have to make a parameter, and then it's okay. Because it's that minus whatever this number is, minus D whatever, or back thickness, or whatever you call it as a parameter. Then sure, then it works as long as I can change this one without affecting that one. But if I change this and it affects that, or I have to go back and manually edit it, then it's not a good thing. Okay. So then extrude that. Where was that?
9/16.
Oh, that's supposed to be negative 0.5.
2 1/16.
Oopsie. I don't know where that 7 came from. It was back there. Then create a sketch on the side of the last feature. Just go sketch here at that point. So line from the midpoint out. Point hole. Sketch here. Draw this line. Dimension it. Holes. Okay. And then these fillets, 1, 2, 3, right there. And so you can't see it really good right here, but this is a piece of angle iron, and it tells us right here. Remember on the drawings that there's a material thing. Sometimes it's just what kind of material. Sometimes it's also what type of material. So this is actually, this piece is made out of a piece of angle iron. It's just cut. So it's made out of a piece by 1/2 by 2 by 3 angle iron. And then they just cut out that section. So those fillets are just part of the angle iron. And so we don't need to worry about, it's just a good size. And we'll talk more about that specifically in 22. So questions on this one? No? All right. This one. So there's probably a couple questions about why I did some things on this one. So my process was I drew on the top, and so I drew here, drew my circle with a diameter of 2, and I extruded up. And then I created a sketch, and I did this. Oops, back to there. So this line was projected, and then I went down, over, up, in, up, out, up. I did all that as one sketch. Why do you think I did that and I just didn't keep extruding circles? It could be. Why else? I mean, but I can draw a circle, dimension, extrude real quick. A lot faster than drawing this and dimensioning it all. Look at my dimensions. So if this one, I knew it was exactly 0.1 high. I could do this one as a circle. I could draw it, diameter of that, extrude it down to 0.08. But then, coming down, I draw it here and I extrude down. It's 0.15 max from there to there. But now I have to do math, right? Or I have to sketch here and extrude all the way down. And then same thing on this one, I have to do from here to here. Either have to do math or sketch from here, but then that will kind of cross over stuff. So I'd have to do some math and figure out that distance.
And we hate math.
Yeah. We don't want to do, like, setting up equations is great. If you're setting up equation using the D numbers or parameters, that's awesome. But if we can do it without doing that, that's better. We definitely don't want to actually just type in 2 numbers to subtract from each other. But here I can see all that. How many lines am I at? So this one doesn't count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. That's pretty much my most complicated sketch that I want to do. Make that a center line, dimension it, and then revolve it. Questions up to there?
On your lines, when you're drawing through there, you're including the chamfers?
Nope, I'm drawing them sharp corners.
You've got all sharp corners.
Draw them sharp. Because those are just chamfers. I have a good command. I can do all 3 of these chamfers at one time, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should be
So
able to do
this says 3x, so that's this chamfer, and this chamfer.
Okay.
But there's little ones here and here too.
Yeah, that's where the thread thing.
Yeah. So, anyone know what? So that these aren't called out. There. Anyone know what those should be? Do you remember what our note said on our title block about threads?
No, where's the title block? Give me back to the title block.
Remember back a couple weeks? Remember there was a note in in the title block notes. It said chamfer all threads. So a chamfer is the thread depth. So you can see this is the depth of the thread, and the chamfer is the same size. We want to chamfer the same depth as the thread is. So that way the thread will start nicely.
Top and bottom.
And then this one's there, and this one right here, it's the same depth, but it's just not as wide, so it's not a 45. But this one really doesn't matter because it's just giving some relief. That back side of that thread doesn't matter. We're not going to thread stuff from that side. It's just giving it so it's not a sharp corner there.
So
So it doesn't really
Cut
matter.
your finger.
Yeah, this is just so that this line right here has to be at maximum of 0.15 from there down, and so from there to where that thread starts, like that distance right here, isn't important. It's showing you that it's less than 45 degrees, so it doesn't matter. If they didn't dimension it, they're not gonna be able to kick it back.
It's gonna be threaded there.
Yep. So this part right here is threaded. So it's a 4-40.
Why are they not drawing it looking like threaded?
Because that takes extra time.
It says it in the notes that you're reading.
Nope. So
It says print base.
it's easier to just draw a set of headlines there and call. This tells you it's a thread. There's the page on threads. They have the video and the description and stuff. And then so I do all that. Add the 0.1 chamfers, add the thread, and add the chamfers on the threads. That's two different things. And this one, it could be 45 because they don't call it out, so I can just put them both in at that same thread.
Why wouldn't you just make it the same thread
Yeah,
pitch?
yeah, I would just put those both in, call it a day.
Yeah.
So, any questions on that one now? Oh, and I didn't. The slot right here. I said it just. Where'd it go? You create a sketch on the top, and then draw two lines. So if I
That's the only circle that actually that you extrude upwards.
So if I create a sketch here, and I just draw two lines, two random straight lines, and I make those both horizontal, and I make them equal to each other, and I stick it on the edge. When I move them in and out, they're going to be centered. That?
Oh, yeah.
Because in order for them to be the same length and touching the same circle, they have to stay centered from each other. So now I can just dimension the space between them, and then extrude down to make the cut. I can do a rectangle, but then I'm back to 3 sections, right? If I did a rectangle, I'd still have to make those coincident and those coincident, and then turn these two lines either into construction lines, or about these little tiny pieces here I have to pick. So just drawing two lines is the way I prefer to do it. All right, any other questions on that? Is that making sense? No? Yeah. What about this one? Any questions on my steps for this? So I did not include the text. Remember I said the text was optional. So sketch this big rectangle, extrude it up, and dimension it to some size that I think is okay. I didn't list the sizes, but if this is 1 inch, then so kind of over here I can see maybe this is 1 inch and also, and so maybe each one of these lines is 1 inch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 inches by, looks like half the distance back is wide by 8. So I might start with that. Just pick a number and start. If you don't know for sure, pick a number and go. Because remember, we can always change things later on.
So what's that, number 9 pass?
And extrude it up to 1. Sketch over here, draw triangle, just 2 lines straight up, back down to the corner, dimension it, extrude it. Add the fillet on the top, mirror it from the front to the back, and then mirror that extrude and that fillet and the mirror to that side.
Well, Why not create the hole near that?
What hole?
The threaded holes.
Because I can do those all in one sketch easy. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you just point them out.
so let's do that. So,
Oh,
there.
You can just center
rectangle, center rectangle.
Got your 4 points.
Let's say I said 8 by 15. Finish, extrude 1. Yeah, it looks okay. Create a sketch on this side. Draw a line from somewhere over here, straight up, back to the corner. Maybe make that 3. I want to make that 2.5. Actually, I'll make that. Remember, I can always adjust stuff. Extrude. If I say 1, it's going to go out. How do I make it go? Yeah, remember? If I want to change the direction, just change it to a negative on everything. And now I can add my fillet to the top. Oops. Regular fillet. Whatever size it is. And now I can go in, mirror the extrude and the fillet. Across that. And then mirror the extrude, the fillet, and the mirror. If I just do the mirror, watch what happens. I only get that one. So I want to make sure that I pick the extrude and the fillet and the mirror. And now I can see, oh, that gap looks too big. So I'm going to go back and edit the sketch. There, that looks better. So now I can create a sketch on here. My origin just keeps going with me. So now I can do a rectangle. And so those are all going to be centered all the way around. And either dimension this line to show how far apart they are, or I can dimension from the edge or whatever. And now I can do my holes and just pick the corners of the rectangle. Threaded. That in. And that part looks extra wide. So maybe it's not 15, maybe it's 12. There, that looks a little better. I'm gonna create a sketch here. I want that hole lined up with there, so I'm just gonna draw a line from there straight up. And it looks a little bit closer than those. So I kind of drag it to where I think it should be, dimension it, and then clean up the number. And now I can put in make it something. Okay. So does that make sense for those steps? No. What was my most complicated sketch?
The mirror.
That's not a sketch. That's a feature. That's not a sketch.
You sketched that once.
The triangle, right?
Triangle.
You sketched that one.
How many lines was that sketch?
You sketched there, and then you just mirrored it around.
Two.
Two.
Lines. 2 lines that I added. That's the most complicated sketch on this thing. Okay. So any questions on that? Does it make more sense now seeing it?
Yeah. Can you show us the other one?
You want to see the other ones?
Yeah.
Which ones? This one?
This one.
This one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. So let me throw it over here so I can actually see what I'm doing. So circle on the top. Point 2. Finish, extrude, point 1. Create a sketch here. project that edge line from here down over, oops. I just got all off. That's why I don't like sketching lines. There we go. Okay, so it's telling me it's over constrained. That's good. It means it's already what I want. So now I can tell it dimension. That one is going to be 0.29. No, that's 0.20. Whatever. And I'm going to make this a center line. So from here to there. Oh. This line right here was 0.08. And from that line to that line, that line to that line was 0.15. And then this one, 0.146. There to there, 0.114. There to there. 0.1. What? 445. Finish. Revolve. So did all that. Sketch on the top. Equal dimension extrude 0.4. Questions so far?
All you need to do is thread it or chamfer it.
So maybe that last one was 0.29.
Oh, yeah, I said, instead of the last one I said, I messed up. I thought you were doing the distance instead of the diameter.
Maybe it's 2.28.
It looks like
I was
0.9 on
looking
the
for
drawing.
that, but I couldn't find where it says.
The proportion looks a little bit off. Maybe it's just because I don't have the chamfer yet. All right, so now chamfers. So chamfers, there, and there. 0.1. Create a thread on that, and it's a number 4. Yeah, so I don't. This drawing is not right.
Oh.
A number 4 is that, but it's coming out a diameter of that, which is actually number 6. This is the closest thing.
So it is a proper drawing.
So whoever made this drawing messed up. So it's either it either needs to be number 4 and it's going to be this, or it needs to be number 6. So then at this point, what do you think you would do? So if you got this at work,
I kick it back to the engineer.
yeah, call them up like, hey, are you sure about this? Did you mean for these to be this sizes? Because it's not, the math is like, even your own dimensions, 0.1445 and 0.1212, like don't work out for what's shown. It's probably that they just meant to be number 6. So I'm going to throw that in there. And then now I'll create my chamfers. So I'm going to do this one. And so that was number 6. So it's 632. So an easy way to know, to estimate your chamfer, what is the second number in the thread, that 32? What does that mean?
Threads per inch.
Threads per inch. So what's the distance between each thread?
Pitch.
1/32 of an inch.
1/32, the inverse of that.
Not the height when it be thread.
And then, so that's the straight line, right? So if I look at the thread, it's a triangle, right? This is the inside edge. This is your 1/32 now. That depth there, that's the depth of the thread. Easy way, we just estimate it. We just use the same as the pitch for the chamfer. It's close enough. The chamfer doesn't have to be exact, and so we'll just do the chamfer of a 32nd also. So we'll do that chamfer. 0.03. See, that's a big.
Yeah.
But if I go back and I look at that thread and I told it to be modeled, look how deep those threads are. So maybe I want to make it a little bit less. So maybe I'll pull it back to like 0.02. The main thing is this point right here has to be on the chamfer. If it's too small at that point, it's on the chamfer, it's not going to start well. And then the same thing up here. I'm just going to do it there. But I'm going to unmodel it. We only do the modeled threads if we're going to like 3D print it. And now I can do a chamfer here. And I'm actually just going to go in kind of until it hits that face. Boom. And there it's done. Okay. Any questions on that? That one make sense? So now we got this one. Questions on my plan here. Who of you thought this would be a one to revolve? It's okay. That's an okay way to do it. You could do it and revolve it. Yeah. But it does make just doing an extrude and then mirroring the whole thing, doing a hole, doing a couple chamfers and mirroring it, makes sense. Because even when I first did, I was going to do the whole thing, do a hole and mirror the hole to the other side, so I get the chamfer, the counterbore on both sides. Like, just might as well just do half of it and then mirror the whole half, mirror the whole body. So, no questions? What about this one?
That would
I did have a question on that.
Yeah.
Why you project
Which one? This one?
Is that yellow piece basically?
That's the piece. That's the part. So what units is this in?
Millimeter?
Yep. Smallest number is like a 0.45, but it's got a number that's 10, and you can see how big it is on the piece of paper. So either this is a huge piece of paper or it's millimeters. Also, you can see they were doing the math to convert it to decimal or to inches. So on this one, you about projecting or?
You decided to project.
Yeah, right here.
Bottom edge.
Yep. So where did I I said to create a sketch on the mid plane. When you create a sketch on the planes, it does automatically convert edges. So on this one, I created. Oh, what's that? My number got off there. Let's see. Let's create a sketch on the top plane. I think I was doing this one. Yeah, so I was doing it kind of laid out like this. So that number doesn't make sense. Oh, that's 625. Oh, the 1.625 times. I couldn't read that dimension right there. That's what that was for. But actually, even without knowing that dimension, I do know the center dimension, and I know that dimension, so I should probably start with this face. Changing my plan. Instead of starting by drawing this face, I'm going to start by drawing this face. Actually, so I'm gonna have to do math anyway. No, I'll just do that.
Borrow some figures.
So actually, by doing that, I'd have to change my whole plan if I want to use this dimension. I would draw this, extrude it, and then just draw on this face, and then now I can actually put in that 0.375 dimension right there to help control the width of it. So see, sometimes taking another look at it, like my whole plan switched. Because I'm like, oh, I can't read that number, but I do have that. So let me redo it. So I didn't have to waste time trying to figure out how to do it. I'm like, oh, never mind. New way, better way. Now I'll do it this way. Okay. So I would, where is that? So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and make this one there. So I'm gonna do a rectangle, and I'm just gonna do a regular one, and then midpoint it there, and then to dimension it to be if I can see that bigger. No. .125 by 1.10. That's the 0.5. So that's this piece. Looking at it like that. This face is this face. So I'll sketch here. Actually, so I'm just gonna upside down. Sketch on the bottom of the part. Midpoint, that line to that line. Dimension from here to that edge right there. So my 375. And then from the back edge to the front edge, 1.625. Finish. Extrude. Oops. Oopsie. Anyone know what I just did wrong there? Like, is there supposed to be an edge right there?
No.
Why do I have an edge? Yeah, because I didn't join them. Because when I went the opposite way, they didn't have faces touching, so I made them a separate body. So I need to change that back to join. So now it's join it together. So that now I've got that there, and now I can go ahead and create my sketch. Draw a line there. How do I center this line on the part? What's an easy way to do it?
Cool.
Create a line on the center point.
Yeah, create a line from the midpoint there to the midpoint there.
Yeah.
And then make that line horizontal. And now I can dimension. Looks like 3125. And from that edge to there, looks like 0.746. Finish it, whole, endpoint, endpoint. Maybe. And now these chamfers there and there. It doesn't tell me. Oh, it does. .1 maybe. So this corner, and that corner. Yeah, those are good. Let's pick all three of those, put them on. there's that part. Okay. But even though I was going to change, I still made the whole plan in my head before I started working. So any questions on this one? All right, what about this one here?
That was really easy to do, just like do this, and then create a hole on top.
How can we just do a symmetric here instead of just a regular?
Oh, doing what?
Symmetric instead of.
Oh, the extrude symmetric?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to keep my center plane down the middle of it. So when I,
Oh, that's when you put the article.
yeah, so when I do that circle, and then I extrude it, if I do it this way, my origin is on the back side. If I tell it to be symmetric, and I can tell it the overall length, now I'm going to keep my origin right there in the middle of it. So now I can sketch back on that if I need to for something. Or if I need to mirror, or I want to line something up with that, right? Because I want to line up, I want to keep my cut centered. When I create a sketch there, that point's there for me to be able to go. So I can do my intersection, or my include. Get rid of that one. Draw my line here, down to my arc. Remember, if you hold the button, it'll make a tangent arc in there. Then I'm gonna add my tangent here. And then I can tell it vertical from the center. Let me turn on slice, make it a little easier. To the center. And slice sometimes doesn't really help too much. So that makes it so that now it's centered, it doesn't move side to side. Make these two lines equal. So now they move the same way. And now I can measure. Why did I draw the arc there?
For the bell.
Why didn't I draw it sharp and then do a fillet?
Less steps.
How's your radius?
Because this number here that goes to the bottom of the sharp is a reference dimension. So that means it's just there for information. So remember when we talked about it, they had the parentheses around it. This is an old drawing, so they actually wrote out REF. Or that, or they don't know what they're doing. I can tell they don't know because they put the zeros in the front. On inch parts, we don't put the inch zeros at the beginning, before the decimal point, right? So this person probably doesn't know exactly what they're doing.
So,
But the dimension here to the bottom, to the tangent point of that, is the real dimension. It doesn't say reference. Because that's probably what they care about. You care about how deep those grooves go. So might as well draw that in. Otherwise, because this is just a measured number, and so it's not going to be perfect. But I want that to be perfect, so I'm going to use the number they gave me. Does that make sense? And would I get the same thing if I just draw sharper that and add fillets? Yeah, and actually that's what I did on the first step. And I was like, wait a minute, that's the reference. That's what they really want. I'm going to use what they really want. And so now I can draw a line from here over. Just tell that to be construction. And I'm just going to tell it to be, again, I need it to be some kind of length. So I'm just going to pick some random number. Doesn't matter. I just want my sketch to be fully constrained. And so now I can dimension from there. If I right click or circle arc tangent, and I can grab the bottom tangent of that arc.
Which one?
I wanted to do the center line, you're right. From there, from there, right click, tangent, boom.
I think you're right.
Did I undo it? No, it's center line. Dimension, boom. Okay, fine. So then I would put in whatever the size is divided by 2.
When I do that, I right click on whatever the second line is, and then it appears to change it to dimension or
Yeah, but if for some reason it's only giving you the radius, I don't know why that's. Oh, that's because I went to the tangent. That going to the center, it's giving me the diameter. It must be just when I do the tangent that it gives the radius. So it kind of overrides it on that case. So then just put in the diameter divided by 2. So I'd put in the 0.55 divided by 2.
did you try to right click on the tangent line when you try to do that?
Let's see.
See if that will do it. Well,
That's
well,
what I
you
just.
do the first right click and then right click again.
No, that's. Yeah, so I don't know, but so put that in and then revolve it there. And then add these chamfers on the 2 sides of the hole. So, questions on steps on that?
I had one about
Yep.
the concentric hole. So the reason why we're adding a concentric hole instead of a counterbore hole is it because of the?
Well, it's concentric because it's the same center,
Oh, okay.
and it's not a counterboard because these are just chamfers there. It's not a countersink.
Oh, okay.
So let's say I'm gonna revolve that,
That looks way.
and then just remember pick somewhere on it, pick the face, set your size, and then come back with chamfers. Just chamfer there, chamfer there. I don't know, whatever it was.
Okay.
This is not the right dimensions for this, but
Okay.
you get the idea. That's definitely not right.
Well, it depends.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So you want it to be at least kind of at the right. Pull that up more. Pull those out.
Do have
So get it close.
from the top
Whatever. So that would be that part. So any other questions?